RimWorld is a very powerful storytelling engine. For a long time, I've wanted to do a run of the game where I chronicle the adventures of the characters from beginning to end. So I created what I think is an interesting scenario involving prehistoric creatures in a vast subterranean cave system, and set my 3 pawns off on a perilous journey. So, without further ado, let their story begin. Three friends were halfway through a late summer camping trip when they discovered a strange tunnel cut into a forested hillside. Feeling strangely drawn to the location, they pitched their tents just outside the tunnel's earthly maw. They were cautious at first, but eventually curiosity got the best of them, and they ventured inside. The dark tunnel led deep inside the earth and eventually split into a labyrinthine tangle of caves. They came across large crystalline structures, the likes of which they had never seen, and heard the unsettling noises of creatures scuttling in the dark. It was at this point that the 3 friends realized they were lost. Unsure of what to do next, they made camp deep within the cave system and planned to get their bearings the following day. Let's meet our 3 spelunking comrades. First, we have Talia Woods, a con artist who, despite her criminal ways, would never resort to violence. Second is Lisa Henneman, an international English teacher with a history of espionage. Finally, we have Will Orchid, a cowardly herbalist who studied mycology at university, but lacks the drive to do anything useful with his degree. When they awoke in the morning, the friends took stock of their situation. Unfortunately, it seemed that they had strayed much deeper into the caves than they had previously thought, and with no obvious path out, they would need a plan to survive. In the dim light produced by the cave's otherworldly crystals, they saw a rather large pillbug feasting on mushrooms. Lisa, taking the lead, tasked Will with investigating the mushrooms to see if they could be used as food if they ran out of supplies. Will took a look at the mushrooms and found them to be tough and probably inedible, but perhaps useful as fuel for a campfire. This would prove useful, as although the friends had brought some firewood from their last camp, those supplies would run out quickly. One thing they would need more than firewood, though, was water, so the friends decided to go out in search of any underground streams or lakes. After traversing a few twisting tunnels, the 3 began to hear the sound of running water. Eventually, they emerged into a large cavern with a stream running straight through it. Lisa suggested that this would be a good place to make camp, so they began the process of moving their tents and supplies to the new location. This almost ended in disaster when Talia and Will accidentally dropped some supplies into a side channel of the stream. Lisa chastised them for their stupidity. Sometimes she wondered if the only reason that she was friends with them was because they reminded her of the elementary-age students she loved to teach. To make up for this blunder, Will began searching for more mushrooms that might be useful to their survival. He managed to identify one strain growing near the stream that appeared edible. He tried a little bite of one, and it had a sweet, almost berry-like flavor. He planted these along with the less edible mushrooms at their new camp. He then set off to help move the remaining supplies from their original base. Lisa, who didn't really trust Will's expertise in mushrooms, was doing some mycological research of her own when she spotted something strange across the camp. A great lizard-like beast with a spiny sail upon its back was gnashing its way through their food stores. It was easily the size of a Komodo dragon, though its sail made its stature more imposing. Surprisingly, Lisa knew exactly what this creature was, though she had no idea how it ended up here. Kids love dinosaurs and dinosaur-related factoids, and some of that knowledge had rubbed off on her. This creature was a Dimetrodon, which one particularly know-it-all kid had informed her wasn't a dinosaur, after she had used the image in a dinosaur-themed PowerPoint. Still, this ravenous Dimetrodon was going to eat its way through their supplies if she didn't do something. She drew her survival knife from her pocket and launched herself toward the creature. As she plunged her blade into the side of the Demetrodon, it let out a primordial roar. Her blade had not done nearly as much damage as she imagined it would, and now she was alone with a very angry prehistoric monster. The Demetrodon charged at her and bit into her arm. She screamed at the top of her lungs, hoping that one of her friends would come to her aid. Will heard the commotion and came running back just in time. Overcoming his cowardly tendencies, he took out his own survival knife and attacked the beast. He stabbed viciously at the creature, though in his reckless assault, the Demetrodon managed to land several blows in return before falling to the ground in agony. The bloodlust faded from Will as soon as the creature was downed, and he found himself too squeamish to deal the final blow. At least the Demetrodon no longer posed a threat to any of them, and would soon succumb to its injuries. He and Lisa made their way over to the tents and waited for Talia's return. Once Talia was back, she helped them apply first aid to their wounds. Lisa realized that perhaps her friends weren't as incompetent as she had thought. They resolved to work as a more coherent team, and not only survive, but escape this subterranean labyrinth. Also, while recovering from their injuries, Lisa and Will chatted about training worms, which brings up a lot of questions about the current state of their mental health. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this RimWorld video. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, as the next installment of this series will be out soon. Also, I wanted to point out that like 10% of the point of this video was to have trilobites wandering around in this cave, but when I loaded up the map, there were no trilobites wandering around the map, so this despite the fact that I set their spawn rate quite high in the mod settings, and they showed up in all the tests that I ran beforehand. But I guess that's just the luck of the draw. Hopefully there will be trilobites next time.